fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
The time is now 8:11 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And before we get into Activated Mornings this morning, just like to remind everyone, experience entertainment like never before. Plus, transform your living room into a home theater with a new TCL home surround sound system. Get entered to win when you sign up. And this is Compliments Flow. You're listening to Ari, and with me in studio is Christal, and we are Activated Mornings this morning. What are we talking about this morning?
Boy, for those of you who are avid users of social media, I'm not sure if you have seen this already, but TikTok has, as of February 1st, 2024, well, UMG, Universal, what does it stand for? It's a record label.
Universal Music Group.
Right. So they cover quite a number of artists and well-known artists too. For example, I could list you three off the top of my head. Well, four. The Weeknd is one. Rihanna,
Listen.
Taylor Swift, Muni, whose song like just hit number one on R&B charts and is like super trending on TikTok.
Do you want to hear some of Universal's artists? Because
Give us
TikTok,
outside of the four. Tell us who are
if
they.
I was
Beyonce
TikTok,
too?
I would have a headache right now. Let's go.
Mhm.
BTS. BTS. Justin Bieber. Lana Del Rey. Kanye West. Billie Eilish.
Oh, and she's
Lady
one popular one.
Gaga. BTS is also a very popular group.
Mhm.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah. Poker face.
Adele.
Damn.
Rihanna. Lil Wayne.
Lil
Jay-Z. Mariah Carey.
So hold on, pause. So that means like Christmas time we're not gonna get it's time anymore?
Not on
that's
TikTok.
sad. Go through.
Enrique Iglesias. 50 Cent. 50 Cent.
We'll get 51 cents just now.
Daddy Yankee. Coldplay.
Not Coldplay.
Imagine Dragons.
You know what I mean.
You don't know Imagine Dragons? Elton John.
Ooh, candle.
Metallica. Avicii. The Baby.
Avicii was good.
Wisin E. Yandel. Spanish singers. Guns N' Roses. Amy Winehouse. Rosalia.
Somebody in rehab.
The Bee Gees.
Ooh.
And that's just the name of few.
They have a good bit.
That is just the name of few.
Yeah. So the reason they pulled, as concisely as I can say it, is that
Harry Styles.
Oh, Harry Styles has a really nice one too.
Hey,
I only know like two from Harry Styles, but I like them.
You're missing out. Harry Styles is a phenomenal artist.
Yeah, I should go look up some more of his music. But apparently there's an issue with fair pay, and UMG is asking for more money from TikTok, and TikTok is refusing to pay them more money for using the music. So whenever like a TikTok creator uses a song, then really and truly the artist is supposed to get something from it.
Let me name some more. Drake, Sting, Bob Dylan, The Beatles, Kendrick Lamar, SZA, Ariana Grande, U2, Post Malone. Listen, there's a lot of artists to be taken from TikTok. This is definitely a loss for TikTok. But my question is, does this make room for dancehall, soca, reggae, and other Caribbean genres to then gain popularity with the absence of all these different genres? We have rock and roll, we have pop, we have hip hop, we have R&B, we have country. With all these artists being removed from TikTok, does this make way for us to get our music the little push that our music need or deserve?
Are our artists getting payouts from TikTok? Like right now, are they getting money?
So the way I see it, right? Just an example.
Mm.
Lil Wayne is on Universal. Drake is signed to Lil Wayne. Popcorn is signed to Drake. That's no money for Popcorn, right there. Let's go to soca. Who are our soca artists? Which music label? How are they getting their royalties?
I want to
If
feel
they're
like
getting
it's
royalties,
individual.
I feel it's individual. So
Even though they might like be under people, I think those folks are not like under these major record labels.
mm,
uh which I feel is like well, now that we see what is happening on TikTok, it's probably like a good and good and bad thing.
it is a good and bad thing.
Depending on how you look at it, because their music can still be used on TikTok, but what are they getting in return outside of
Mm,
popularity? Now, when people use their songs on TikTok, are they going to like streaming platforms like Spotify and listen to the song? Are they downloading? Are they
mhm.
buying the songs? How is it helping the artists to make money? Because really and truly, they're putting out a lot of intellectual property. And what are the returns? Like when they just sit down at home, are they making money without having to perform their behinds off to actually make cash at these at various events?
But sorry, I didn't finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know that they are one of the issues. One of the main issues is that Universal is saying that TikTok are basically robbing the creatives, that they are paying one third or one quarter of what other media platforms are paying to these artists, and that's dangerous because persons used to look to the radio back in the days to find out what songs are popular or what the songs are that you need to be listening to, but as of recent, a lot of persons find out about music because of TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. That's true. That is true. But you need to pay your fair share for using the property of these creatives. They spend money to create these songs, and if you sit down, you would not be able to create these songs that are so popular and trending as they would, because it's a creative, it's just a creative thing. It's kind of hard to explain.
But
Not everybody could do it, but just pay.
here's something to think about. You do know that TikTok is Chinese owned.
Maybe the Chinese songs will make the money.
Here's something to think about. Do the Chinese often have decent labor laws? Do they pay people working in the factories properly?
That don't mean nothing. That don't mean anything. Like
Doesn't it?
Look at it. Well, maybe that's their mindset. They don't want to pay out a lot of money, right? But if a major company that's behind, one of the reasons that a lot of people are on TikTok is because of the music and the videos, the creative videos that come from some of these songs. Hello. Although I think sometimes it's probably the other way around. Like, the songs like lead to what's not. But I think this is a global issue, and it's not just TikTok. People tend to not want to pay for the work of
Music.
creative people. And it's not just music, it's art and craft, it's I'm gonna go back to music, artists performing. Oh, come lend me a help, come get some exposure. We see it here in St. Vincent and Grenadines too. It's the MCing, the dancing, and a host of other things that creative people do that folks just they don't understand the value of. Um, but human beings will find a way around problems. I've seen some videos on TikTok where they're making fun of the issue. I want to believe that either of two things will happen. We will see the rise of karaoke on TikTok. So people will still continue to sing the people songs, but they'll make them very funny. Or two, somebody else will come up with an app that can cater to that specific niche market and fill the gap or the void that's now been created by TikTok. Will this lead to more exposure for Caribbean music? I am not too certain.
I think it's an opportunity.
It's an
And I think
opportunity.
that person's artist should capitalize because we do have Caribbean TikTok, same as Black Twitter, where there are a lot of Caribbean music being promoted. Do you remember the somewhat viral video of the person hearing a knocking sound in their car and they turn it up to play? I think it was Drift or one of them dancehall songs to show that they ignoring the knocking song and
Oh.
continuing the day. Like they are videos that are popular that involve Caribbean music, and I do think that it is an opportunity for artists to even band together and make their own agreements with TikTok because dancehall and soca are growing genres and have been growing for years. Maybe TikTok is what we need to get that extra push.
Boy, left to be seen, left to be seen. Because as it stands, I think outside of not having that competition in there anymore, um, I don't discover like so. I don't know if it's my FYP or whatever. I tend not to discover soca songs on TikTok.
Really?
Um, I think I found out about Market. I discover soca music on YouTube because I don't want to be looking at like 30-second videos of the songs and then so I just go straight to YouTube and listen to the entire song. Yeah, TikTok is not my place for discovering Caribbean music. Um, although I did discover Market by Nadia Batson on TikTok. Yeah, but outside of that, it's either radio or YouTube for me. But to each his own. To each his own. Depends on you.
Eh, guess we could hope it happens.
Hope so.
But
Hope so. But that's messed up,
that's
boy.
a lot of big names being pulled from TikTok.
Yeah, one of my videos went silent.
One of your videos went silent. The videos you posted like the music, you
Yeah,
tried
the music.
it.
When I checked it this morning, I'm like, the sound has been removed. I'm like, really?
Mhm.
And it was one of those like trending what is it called? One of those trending songs. I can't remember the artist now, but I know it was one of those things. I'm like, oh, so if the sound has not been, oh boy, everybody gonna be dancing in thin air.
Mhm.
Oh man, look at this,
Mhm.
look at this, look at this.
Mhm.
Yo, post
But
it on TikTok.
that's
Shout
not
out
the
to all yourselves.
that's not the only thing that happened to TikTok this week, unfortunately. I don't know if you saw the racist exchange between an American senator and the TikTok CEO. So, in case you didn't see it, the TikTok CEO is actually Singaporean. It's from
Mm,
Singapore. And they
sorry.
they have been accused of working for the Chinese government because TikTok is a China based app. Chu had to the name of the TikTok CEO is Shou Chu. Chu had to go in front of Congress and declare that ByteDance is not an agent of China or any other country. So, in case you don't know, ByteDance is TikTok's parent company.
Mm-hmm.
This exchange was so interesting to me because we often talk about racism that Black people experience, forgetting that Indians, Chinese, what are the other races?
Any other race?
We forget any other race experience the same set of racism. So this white congressman was asking Shu, does he have a Chinese citizenship? She said no. Is he an agent of China? She said no. What is his nationality? He said, I am Singaporean. I'm from Singapore. Is Singapore part of China? How you as a congressman don't know geography? How you as a congressman don't know simple geography?
He sleep during the class then.
And then the back and forth went on and on and on. And he kept getting more and more racist. And listen, I applaud you for his patience in dealing with this because I would have just asked him if he's stupid. At some point, I would have to ask him, what's going on? And they grilled him for 5 hours.
What the same nonsense?
Well, it wasn't the same nonsense. Chu appeared with Mark Zuckerberg, I think Elon Musk was supposed to be there, but they were to discuss child safety in the UK and the US. But we could go into that next after these messages.
More jackpot money, more reasons to play this game. More money for way. Super Six a bigger jackpot game.
$270,000. That's the Super 6 jackpot from midday, Friday, February 2nd. It's $270,000.
More jackpot money, more reasons to play this game. More money for way. Super Six a bigger jackpot game.
Do you spin a dial to make a call on your rotary phone from the 60s?
No.
Are you driving an unreliable and risky automobile made in the 1900s?
Of course not.
Are you still fiddling with an antenna to get good signal on your black and white television from the 20s?
Really?
Then why are you still stuck in the past, sitting on an unintelligent 1930s design toilet? That's right! 1930s design! What does your bathroom say about you? Don't get left behind. The future is now. Be smart. Be progressive. Get yourself a smart toilet seat or a complete toilet today. You can visit the My Smart Toilet Seat office on the 3rd floor of the Blue Corner building opposite the old Anglican School on Bay Street. Our smart toilets are also available throughout St. Vincent at retail outlets with the orange flags. For more information, you can call us at 457-1703 or visit our website, justwashit.vc.
Whether you're ripping it up on the highway or taking a casual Sunday drive, OT Tire Limited is second to none when delivering excellence at reasonable prices. We offer new and used tires, tire repair and installation. We are the only place that offers nitrogen, which helps with gas consumption and ride comfort. Supplying you with brand name tires like Maxxis, Kumo, Good Ride, Westlake, and Triangle.
Boom! Enjoy the VIP style customer waiting lounge with refreshments and free Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying, yo? This is Skinny Fabulous, and when it comes to tires, nobody makes it easier than OT. Boom! Got me on the road. When me OT car tire.
Follow OT Tire on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter today.
Hey, boom! Run the road with OT tires.
WEFM, the new fresh sound. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
The time is now 8:28 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and you're listening to Ari, and with me is Christal this morning, and we are Activated Mornings. If you're just joining us this morning, we're talking social media apps. So we discussed that some apps was music. Universal took a lot of music off of TikTok recently, but that wasn't the only problems at TikTok, along with Discord, X, Snap, and Meta faced this week. So I'm reading from NBC News. A Meta CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, apologized on Wednesday to parents in the audience of a Senate online child safety hearing, who said Instagram contributed to their children's suicides or exploitation. So just like to remind the listeners that Meta is, of course, in charge of Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. So Zuckerberg said, "I am sorry for everything you have gone through," after Senator Josh Haley pressed him about whether he would apologize to the parents directly. He said, "It's terrible. No one should have to go through the things that your family has suffered." Lawmakers grilled Zuckerberg and CEOs of TikTok, Discord, X, and Snap at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing called Big Tech and the Online Child Sexual Exploitation Crisis. So parents held up photos of their children as senators questioned the CEOs. Many also wore blue ribbons that read "Stop Online Harms, Pass COSA," referring to the Kids Online Safety Act, which would create a duty of care for social media companies. Some of the parents audibly hissed when Zuckerberg entered the hearing room on Wednesday. He has faced intense scrutiny and criticism over the years around child safety issues on Meta's platforms. Zuckerberg's words to the parents at the hearing were not into the microphone, but they were audible on a live stream. When he apologized, Zuckerberg told the parents, "This is why we invest so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families had to suffer. Zuckerberg faced perhaps the toughest line of questioning at the hearing, with senators pressing him about the non-consensual sexual explicit images of children on Instagram, drug deaths linked to social media platforms, and an array of other issues. You know what I find interesting about this? There are a lot of, it's very easy to be flagged on Instagram specifically. I'm not sure about Facebook, but I have lost my Instagram profile before for simple things. Like if I comment on a blog site, this post is stupid, flagged, harmful towards this person. But then when racist things, especially racist towards black people, pop up and you report it, sometimes it basically goes unnoticed. I remember when I was in Taiwan, there were some Taiwanese doing blackface on Instagram. Big joke to them. And a lot of persons were reporting it. And it never came down. It's not until it got into Taiwanese press that I think more Taiwanese started reporting it. And that is when something was done. But so persons, parents were concerned that the children were committing suicide, or they were concerned about the explicit images, child pornography, certain things that children are exposed to on these apps. And it's not the first time that the CEOs had to face Congress. They also had to face Congress about fact-checking certain things, spewing hate crimes, inciting riots. They're held liable for a lot of things. And I don't know, Christal, I don't know about you. That don't make you feel good about being a small business owner because the stress that you experience a lot less. But what are your thoughts on all of this?
So these social media platforms depend on like user content. And it is up to them to invest in the technology, AI and what's not, to kind of sift through and ensure that the content that is put out is safe for the user. So it's not abusive in any way. It is not right. Let me just leave it as abusive in any way. It is. I find even with the most advanced technology, while these social media apps have community guidelines, I find it to be rather challenging to control it to a certain extent. They would have technology that will pick up on certain movements, certain images, any photographs, any videos, certain words as well. Because I remember one time I used a word on TikTok and they pulled down the video.
Oh, no. TikTok is very serious about it.
Yeah, so maybe they need to check out TikTok for that. I know now on TikTok they use, and while they would cut out certain words, people have used different words to mean the same thing. But it kind of boils down to the same thing at the end of the day.
Like the ninja emoji.
Ninja and unalive. So they don't say like suicide or dead, they say unalive. But it's the same message that's going across. I find this is rather difficult to control that because humans will find a way around everything. With all that being said, and these platforms putting in place things that could protect them first, because I always believe that they protect themselves first before anybody else, and also make it a safe space for younger users. What are the parents doing? You're giving your child a cellular phone and you're just leaving them with it. 10, 13, 14, 15 at a critical point in their development of emotions, development of their like egos, although I think the ego is from an early age. You're giving them a mobile device, a tablet, laptop, cellular phone, and you're just leaving them with it. Are you like looking at what they're looking at? Are you monitoring what they're doing on their devices that can quite possibly contribute to them developing mental illnesses and ultimately going along the lines of being either passively or actively suicidal? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing to prevent certain things from happening? Because the way the world is going, we're becoming more technologically advanced. Yes, a lot of pressure you want to give your child, you want to keep up with the Joneses, XYZ, but what are you doing to protect your child as well?
But Crystal, I'm not a parent, but I'm curious. When it is that you had actual bullying, physical bullying, were the schools being held accountable?
Bullying. First of all, you had to report it. You had to report the bullying in school. The teachers would normally step into play to try to deal with it. If it cannot be dealt with by the teachers, then the principal and then the parents would come in, and you see where it
Yeah,
goes.
but that's if it's known.
If it's known and if it's reported.
Because I went through primary, secondary school, even college, and I've seen a lot of bullying that just went under the rug. Now, the reason why I ask also is these social media apps are being held accountable based on the content, but the way I view communications and some of these technologies is that they're just exposing children to a sense to the wall. But then you as a parent, when you let your child go to school, isn't it basically the same thing? You're exposing them to other children. You don't get to monitor what they're doing all the time. You don't know what they're taking in. Isn't it roughly the same thing?
It is the same process, but I think the difference between the two is the degree of exposure. So let's look at like St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Without a phone, I wouldn't know. If I grew up in a Christian community,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to use the LGBTQ argument or discussion here.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a Christian community. Everybody within when I say Christian community, I mean like within the church.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody within my community, they also grew up in the church. So what we know, while we're going to school and interacting, what we know is that man and woman, woman and man, woman and woman, totally wrong. We don't have phones, so we don't know that there is an alternative,
Mm-hmm.
right? One of the children might come up and talk about it, but because the majority of people are man and woman and man, there's something absolutely wrong with man and woman, according to the Bible, right? So that is our surroundings. Introduce the phone, let me say it's 100 students. Introduce the phone to 100 students, and they're scrolling, and all they're seeing, despite most people around them are man and woman and man, all they're seeing on social media is lesbianism, queer, LGBTQ, everything. To me, in a sense, it normalizes that. And we're like, hey, there's an outside world where this is normal. Why can't it be normal? And sometimes it might become intriguing. They might realize, okay, maybe I'm like that. This is how I'm feeling. And then it influences them. I think influence and the degree of exposure plays a role. And on your phone, it is unlimited. The entire world at your fingertips. And children will find a way to get around certain things. You could put on parental stuff on your phone, on your tablet. It might work. I think it might work. It should work, maybe for younger children. But the older you get, the more you could do whatever you want. The access, and then there are pedophiles online. There are people trying to get your money. Sure, I might go and use the card and spend the money on what's not. It's just, to me, it's a bit more out of control with a mobile device than it is everybody going to school and talking shippiness.
So when it comes to kidnapping and pedophilia, that is where I agree that something has to be done regarding these sites, because a lot of pedophiles and a lot of predators use these apps to try to get what they want from their targets, their victims. And I do think that something definitely needs to be put in place. But when it comes to, I don't know, cyberbullying, I am always kind of desensitized to it, because I cannot wrap my mind around, I never could wrap my mind around how somebody's comments on social media could affect my entire day. And we kind of grew up on BBM and High Five and what's
MSN.
MSN.
There was another one.
MySpace?
MySpace.
where persons were able to comment whatever they feel like. There were no regulations. People said whatever they wanted to say to you. I play video games where people are on video games calling you any racial slur that they know. That has never once influenced me to unalive myself. But
But
I
that's
guess
that's you, right? That's
that was
you.
just about to say. But I guess it also has to do with your mental strength, and I do think how you're raised does play a part in that. I think it's harder for a Caribbean child to, I chuckling, but not because the topic is funny, but I just thinking it's funny because it's hard for a Caribbean child to let something like that bother them because we face it at every single day.
Yeah, that's how we real up tough.
They're real up rough.
Actually, real up a little toxic, some of us. But anyways, that's a different
Yeah.
conversation for a different day. I think for some users, there are certain things that might trigger them.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of unhappy people around the world who just feel that they should spread their unhappiness
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they should just spread that and negativity to other people because they're themselves unhappy. So what might trigger you may not trigger a word might trigger you but not trigger somebody else, right?
Mhm.
Insecurity, like I said, these younger folks are like developing and they're maturing and what's not. I think it goes back to the relationship between themselves and the parent or the
Mhm.
guardian, the person
Mhm.
who is supposed to be in control. If they are open enough to say, you know what, somebody said XYZ to me on social media, and this is how I feel about it, that person in authority should come in and say, you know what, that's not something that you should worry about. Folks would find or would seek out validation on social media because they don't get validated anywhere else.
Mhm.
Which could itself lend itself to them becoming quite insecure. They're also watching a lot of content that's unrealistic, unnatural as well,
Mhm.
and thinking that okay, likes, shares, running the streets right now, views and comments, whatever, running the streets right now. As a young person, that could be really detrimental because you're gonna want to put yourself out there so you can get the most.
Um,
And if like a mature person is not like in place to say to regulate that system, then you see how it can go downhill if that child is not mature enough to deal with the consequences of social media.
So I'd like to apologize to those that were trying to contact us via WhatsApp. We're just getting to those messages, and we could get to them before we meet our next commercial break.
All right, which is in about wait.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then,
a hike chat to see
mm-hmm.
Lisa. Okay, nothing so far. Wee, wow. When I was a child, I went with my parents regularly to the vegetable market to buy fresh vegetables, ground provision, foreign and fruits. So this was before. These days, all those things are sold at the supermarket, which has become a one-stop shop.
That's also true. That's also very true.
So there's no need. Some people go to the market for extra things and because they could choose, and some folks, I guess, for sentimental reasons. Or it's not the same, and their experience is nowhere close to Africans.
I guess he's talking about
Racism.
racism.
Yeah.
Listen, if we keep on doing tit for tat, then we have a discussion the entire day. But we do different races do face prejudice and racism.
A social media question: can you see a time when the Caribbean will be the owner of the social media entity instead of just being the supplier of content to the platforms, therefore making their owners even richer? It is possible.
It is very possible. It is possible. But
Lisa is
here
here.
she is. Okay.
So we're gonna take a break. Let's play a Quartz commercial, and we're gonna come right back with Lisa.
Pick your daily reward from the Quartz Ready Cash Money Tree. Every customer is a winner with every loan of $3,000 or more from Quartz Ready Cash. Plus, you get to enter to win a weekend for two at Sandals. No deposit, no collateral needed. All you need is your ID, proof of address, pay slips, job letter, and 2 references. Visit your nearest Quartz or Ready Cash location today or apply online at www.quartz.com. Get more for 2024 with Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are. Conditions apply.
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And we are back. It is now 8:45 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And this morning, joining Activated Mornings, we have Lisa from Courts Limited.
Good morning. Morning, guys. Good morning,
Good
St. Vincent
morning.
and the Grenadines. Guess what, guys? It's February. So the 60 days or the 90 days in January is gone. So
Thank you, Jesus. God is good.
so we're into a brand new month. This is the love month, though, eh?
Black
It
History
is.
Month.
And Black History Month. That's true.
It's a sad month for single people. But let's continue.
Yeah, we'll continue. But
what's the
this
story from
morning,
courts?
as I mentioned to Christal, and I'm not going to be doing any promotion this morning. We're not talking about no products, no sale, no. This morning we're going to speak about, and I think I spoke about it briefly last week, is our wish list. For persons who don't know, we started our wish list project, which is a CSI initiative around 2017. And it was our way of giving back to the various communities, persons who were in dire need. They were nominated by somebody, and we went and we did food baskets that first year. I think we did about 40. And it really touched our hearts when we went out and we saw some of the conditions under which persons lived. And we went bigger the year after, and then of course COVID hit, and then we had to kind of go into isolation a little bit. And we said, you know what? Let's see how we can revamp it and how we can relaunch this so that we can come bigger this year. Normally our wish list is done at Christmas time, but we're going to be doing it this year on the 24th of March. It's a Sunday. So the team is going to devote their Sunday to go out. And we're going to be handing out different items. So it's going to be food baskets or products, various items. It all depends on what the individuals, for the recipients, what their needs are. So how does it work? So we want to ask persons to nominate somebody. And persons will say, why I could nominate myself. Well, if you really are that much in need, somebody would nominate you.
Okay.
Right?
Fair point.
So, and it's a way of also being our brother's keeper. I think we really need to get back to those days where we look out for one another. And I know we know persons who are in a worse situation than we are. I was telling somebody this morning, we have a lot of persons who walk around the street. They're all dressed, some people dress, go to work. You look at them and you figure everything is all fine and dandy, but it's a facade. There are a lot of people who we look at every day who are struggling. There's some mothers who have 5 and 6 children and they barely can put food on the table. Some children are going to school without books, shoes. There are people who are living without running water, don't have electricity. And these are basic things that we take for granted every single day. And if you know somebody who is or who falls under any of those categories, we're asking you to nominate them for consideration for our wish list. What we need is a letter. We need some sort of documentation, first of all, to be able to validate it, and also for our own auditing purposes. So you can either write a letter, you can drop it in. If you cannot do that, we have our courtsgoodnews.com where you can send the information to. So let me give you that again, courtsgoodnews.com. That's our website that we've set up, or an email address that we've set up, that you can send us the information. You can call 456-1325, extension 225. You can speak with me. I can take the information. I had about 2 or 3 persons this morning call just before I came to give me some names. Or what we're going to do, we're going to start doing some radio segments where we're going to be actually opening up the lines and taking the information on air so that we can get as much info as possible to make a more overall decision in terms of if the persons nominated are really those who are in dire need. Because we have to assess it, we have to vet it, we have to make sure that who we give to are the ones who are most in need. We've been doing donations from ever since Courts came on island, 25 years ago. We helped when there was the volcanic eruption. We helped when there was the Christmas flood. We've been doing stuff during COVID. We're constantly giving free glasses to students throughout the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Every single day, I was telling somebody, without fail, I get at least 5 to 10 letters on my desk with donations or sponsorships. We've even gone into the realm now where we've been sponsoring different activities, carnival bands. We're trying to give back in various ways. And of course, we have the one-on-ones that we've been helping. But it doesn't stop there. We really want this year to be a very big and successful venture. And we can only do that if persons can do what we're asking them to do, which is to nominate somebody. So as I mentioned, there are different needs that persons have. It could be a person who is medically ill and they need a wheelchair, for example, to be able to move around. It could be somebody who lives on their own, an elderly person, and they only have one burner on the stove that is working. So again, if you know of somebody, you must in the different communities, you must know at least one person, even in the village. I won't even go community, in the village where you live, where there must be somebody who you know who can benefit from us helping them. And I mean, everybody would like to get help themselves, but I'll tell you, the blessings that you can get from just doing that, it's just priceless.
That is
You
true.
know, when you can help somebody without getting something back in return, I think that is the best gift of all. Right? So let me just recap and remind persons what we need them to do. So you're going to nominate somebody who is in need. You can either send us the letter, you can drop it into the store, you can either go on the courtsgoodnews.com, the email address we have set up for that specific purpose, and you can send us the information. You can call us. You can call 456-1325, extension 2225. Or as a matter of fact, you can call and ask for anybody that works at courts. At some point, the information is going to be trickled to the marketing department. Or you can wait for when we have our on-air call-ins, and you can nominate somebody on air. We'll take the information, obviously, and we will put it on our spreadsheet and we will vet it. The wish list takes place in March. We're cutting off the nominations at the end of February because obviously we anticipate that there are going to be so many names that we're going to have to do a series of vetting and a series of committee meetings that we're going to have to, okay, so you might have 100 people and then you have to kind of break it down to determine, okay, from out of this 100, how many persons do we really think, qualify for the program? So we want to give us time as well to also source the items that we have to get for people. Because if it's a wheelchair, we don't carry wheelchairs. So we have to try and source this. So we want to give ourselves that time as well to be able to get what we need to get. So that when we go out, we don't just go out with a promise. We go out with the actual item. Right? And of course, WEFM has always been partnering with us for so many different things, and we really hope that we can partner with you guys when we decide to go out and do this initiative. So please reach out, nominate somebody. I'm sure you know at least one or two people. We really want to be able to help persons this year. It's a month of love, but it's also a new year, and I think we also have to look at how we can be better neighbors, be better keepers, be better citizens as well, by looking out for persons in our communities. Right? So that's it for me this morning. There's no promotions, just our wish list.
Wish list.
And we just want to showcase the softer side of the company. It's not all about the money, eh?
Mm-hmm.
We want persons to realize that when you come and you shop with us, your money is also going forward to help somebody else. And it's part of our corporate social responsibility.
Right,
We really
right.
take that seriously. It's our way of being able to give back. We are in business because of everybody who's listening, and we want to make sure that we do our part in making sure that people are taken care of. Right? So
Question
guys,
before you
have
go.
a great Friday. Have a great weekend. I'll see
Before
you all
you
next
go.
week Friday.
No, don't go yet.
Don't go yet.
The letter, who do we address it to?
You can address it to the marketing department, or you can address it to Courts and Vince Limited. The most important thing is that it gets to us.
Okay. And you have
Right?
until the end of the month.
You
end
have
of
until
February.
the end of the month. And what we need in the letter is the person who you're nominating, the name, where they're from, and why you're nominating them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can also put your contact number, because we don't want to reach out to the recipient just yet. Because if we do, you kind of give them a false hope
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they're going
yeah.
to get through.
Mhm.
And in as much as we want to help everybody who is nominated, not everybody will be the recipient.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be able to reach out to the person who's nominating them first, so that we can ask. If you have any more questions we have to ask, we can contact you. And then after we've kind of drilled down to the list and we have like a short list, then we can reach out to the recipients and say, hey, we're going to be in the area on Sunday. Are you going to be home? We want to pass by. In some cases, we won't even tell them what we're passing by. We just kind of give them a general idea that we're in the area. This is Courts. We're going to be passing by. So are you going to be home? Because we also want to have an element of surprise to it. It's nice to capture people's faces when they are surprised and they don't expect something.
That's true.
That in itself is, you can't put a price tag on that face. You can't. You really, really can't. I've seen it many times from when we go out, and it really just warms your heart to see how you can impact somebody's life just by a simple, maybe a box of food, or some books, or maybe just a stove or micro something.
Yeah,
Somebody's life can change just from that little token.
that's fact.
So guys, have a great day and a great weekend.
Same to you,
See you
Lisa.
next week Friday.
All right.
All right.
Take
Thanks for
care.
joining us.
See me soar in 2024. Be seen wearing the best and latest styles in eyewear from Courts Optical. Buy one free and get a second pair for free. Mix and match with your favorite brands. A variety of